The question is, could you run a fast-speed train from Melbourne all the way to Brisbane? Yes?
An expert in this field, how would you react if I said we were thinking of revisiting the very fast train proposal? It's not a prank.
I realise your study concluded it wasn't viable, but that was many years ago. OK, 2 years ago.
But hypothetically, let's say we went at 600 kilometres per hour. Yes, no, I understand the laws of physics.
The gradient shouldn't be a problem if we've just got to flatten out a few hills. Yeah, the Blue Mountains, sure, that's a little more challenging.
Yeah, that is the problem, right? The things like the Blue Mountains. How do you just dig a tunnel straight through that? And I don't think you'd be allowed to, if I'm honest, because it's far too beautiful without having a train there. Unless you built a tunnel where you just could not... Oh, I don't know. There's a lot of things to think about.
No, I understand, but theoretically, if we were to tunnel from Melbourne to Canberra... Now, just go with me on this.
OK, but sorry, why would we need to fence the line? To prevent collisions? Sure, we couldn't just put up signs? Yeah, I realise Kaz can't read.
I don't work for a breakfast radio show.
OK, so if we made the fence even higher, so the kangaroos couldn't jump it?
See, this is an issue, right? This is an issue. I don't think in the UK we have this same issue, and most of our train lines are sort of have a small fence. They're on a sort of on a mound that goes down, and then there's a fence at the bottom most of the way. But our wildlife doesn't necessarily jump in the same way as your wildlife down in Australia. So how do you get around the problem of not having a kangaroo staring at you as the train is coming? That is the tricky thing. Really high walls, maybe.
OK, how would the wombats get in?
Right, and how would you rank our chances of success? Oh, that's quite high. Out of 100.
It's actually very difficult to get the train out of Melbourne.
But after that?
Plain sailing.
Until you hit the Blue Mountains.
Then you've got the western suburbs of Sydney. They present some serious challenges.
7 marginal seats.
I meant engineering challenges.
Yeah, no, got it.
Then there's the question of getting the train out of Sydney.
When do we get to Brisbane?
In about 4 pages.
We spoke to every expert we could find.
Should I mention the wildlife issues? It's not just kangaroos.
No, it doesn't matter. Like, even with the craziest of assumptions, petrol at $7 a litre, airfares tripled, a congestion tax in all the capital cities.
Numbers still don't stack up.
There's no silver bullet.
Actually, that's a really good name.
Yeah, that's a great name.
Jim. Might need the defibrillator.
Now look at the map. Look at the map. How can you say no to this?
I'm saying that from here to here, a train...
It's actually telling the times, and it's got a top speed of 350 kilometers. Really interesting. Over in Japan, this has been going on for a while, but Tom Scott has just done a video about the maglev and the what's going on at the moment, and that is getting up to about 500 kilometers. Wow. That is so fast. Really good video. Go watch it. Tom Scott looking at the maglev train. But it runs on, well, magnets, I suppose, and it doesn't actually touch the ground. But when you're driving that fast, wow, you will get to destinations a hell of a lot quicker. It's incredible to think of.
Train would work. From there to there, a train would work. From there to there, but not from there to there to there.
But look at the connectivity from Brisbane. It's bringing Australia together. It's building the nation. Work
That's
there,
Japan.
it's work there, it's work
Spain.
there. And look at it.
But what? That's an artist's impression, Jim. And that doesn't say anything about all the problems that we've got to resolve.
Don't let the problem stand in the way, because you know where every problem is? There's a solution right around the corner.
I'm getting an ice cream headache. Even if we resolved all the engineering and environmental problems, the distances are simply too great.
Well, you've got to give me something. Look at it, the silver emu. It's so close, I can hear it.
That's a steam train, Jim. Jim, are you all right?
There must be something we can announce.
Yeah, but we can't announce a feasibility study.
Are you sure?
Or a scoping study.
What's that?
It's the same thing, only thicker with graphs and diagrams.
That sounds good.
Yeah, but it's only going to tell us what we already know. A very fast train simply won't work.
We won't know that until the report's finished.
We know that now.
Not officially. And they don't know that we know.
Who's they?
The naysayers.
But they know we know they know we know.
What? Can we just move this thing forward?
If you opened your mouth, I might.
Until the election.
Oh, sorry. Oh. I get it. All right.
Yes.
I haven't said anything
Just be
yet.
supportive.
We announced that we're going to set up an authority. A
Authority.
Federal High-Speed Rail Authority,
Yes.
the FHSR.
The FHSR. What do they do?
Well, what we're doing, but over a longer time frame.
And they'll be within your...
No, within yours. I can supply some staff. They won't last long, but it'll be a standalone authority.
Yeah.
And they do a targeted study.
Brilliant.
They have to look at acquiring the pieces of land that will secure the rail corridor, but over a long time frame, so it's virtually meaningless.
I know this is all a bit of a joke. It's got Celia and it's got Thingy, Ginger Lad. He's on current series as Taskmaster. Oh, I've completely forgotten his name. Anyway, he's very funny. It does bring up a serious issue though, and there are way too many issues in Australia that mean that a high-speed train is very difficult. I completely get that. But this is the one thing that it does lack. You know, I know the UK is smaller, but we can get a train from Southampton, where I am, all the way up to Scotland, and it's not obviously fast speed. They're currently doing the QE2, whatever nonsense it is, or whatever it's called, that is meant to be fast, but it's pointless. But it is a serious thing, isn't it? Because, you know, I know you've got the Garn, and there's the other one that goes from, well, I know one of them goes from Perth to all the way to Melbourne, but it's slow. It takes days and days to get across, and the one that goes up from Adelaide to up to Darwin and whatnot, but they are so slow. I think it would be important to be able to have a high-speed train because it just allows for different ways of transport. We all know planes are not exactly the most environmentally friendly. So if you can have something like the maglev system that is well off still, that is real high speed and is energy efficient in a sense, then that is a better way of transport, right? But there are a lot of issues mentioned here. For example, the wildlife, the mountains, like the Blue Mountains, for example, the actual geography of Sydney, for example, isn't exactly practical for building things like this. But I like this because they're obviously looking at it in a political way of let's promise something even though we know it's not actually going to happen. A really good one. I enjoyed that. I hope you did too. If you haven't already, like the video, hit the subscribe button. And what do you think about a high-speed train in Australia? Let me know in the comments and I'll catch you next time.